In the icy apocalypse, I awakened a safe house system with unlimited heating. Unexpectedly, my mother turned out to be a saint. Seeing that I had plenty of supplies, she not only invited all our relatives over, calling it a grand family reunion for the new year, but she even went out of her way to open our doors to the neighbors. Come in, everyone, come warm up in our house, have some food, don't go hungry. My mother's flamboyant actions attracted many people. The supplies I had painstakingly saved up were quickly depleted by the increasing number of people flooding in. Eventually, word spread and attracted a group of burly men. When the supplies ran out, they chose to kill me and eat my flesh. After being reborn, I found myself back on the day I had just brought my mother to the safe house. How is it so warm here? That's really nice. Let's see, you've hoarded so much stuff. What will you do if you can't finish it? The moment I opened my eyes, there was my mother, making a fuss. My eyes were red as I looked at her, a whirlwind of complicated emotions surging within me. In my previous life, it only took half a month for the extreme cold to set in our southern city, where it had never snowed before. The temperature plummeted to minus 40 degrees Celsius. At first, many people thought it was just an anomaly in the weather, but I knew the icy apocalypse was coming, because I was bound to the safe house system. And its predictions about when the temperature would drop and when it would snow were exactly as it happened in reality, so I no longer took it lightly. Fortunately, this 200 square meter safe house, complete with a basement, had enough space for me to stockpile a substantial amount of supplies. After I frantically finished buying supplies, I brought my mother over, planning for just the two of us to survive together. But my mother didn't believe in any apocalypse. She made a big fuss about the supplies I had gathered. Why do you need so much stuff? Just share it, otherwise, it's just taking up space. I got angry with her, but she just dismissed it casually. What apocalypse? I think you've read too many books, like this. Why don't you bring over your big uncle and aunties? They are freezing too. We have enough to share with them, and we can all have a lively New Year's celebration together. Wouldn't that be wonderful, Mom? No matter how much supplies we have, they are still limited. What will we eat if they finish everything? I yelled at her, but she still argued back. Isn't that a bit much? Family should help each other out. What's wrong with sharing a little surplus? Being kind-hearted is important. Our house is so warm, and others don't even have a place to shelter from the wind. How can you bear to see that? How did I raise such a selfish daughter? Just share a little. What harm could that do? It's the new year. Don't be so stingy. Okay, having a daughter like you is really embarrassing. I couldn't stand up to my mother. And in the end, not only did she invite her relatives over, but she also took in several neighbors who were frozen stiff. That was a mistake. Originally, after stockpiling supplies, our home was just spacious enough for two people to move around. But after my mother brought in a bunch of random people, the space in the house was squeezed to the limit. Even standing room to sleep was scarce. The beds were occupied by my uncles, and I, as the owner of the safe house, could only sleep on the floor near the toilet. The floor was so crowded that there wasn't even space to stretch out, and every day I had to put up with the stench of my neighbor's feet, making it hard to breathe. I also had to share the cramped space with my uncle's thuggish son, who took advantage of the darkness to occasionally grope me, but that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was that, in an effort to be a gracious host, my mother, she seemed to pause for a moment, processing my words, but then her own fear surfaced. Are we really going to be that selfish, to keep everything to ourselves? I looked at her, a mix of frustration and desperation in my eyes, and responded firmly, it's not about being selfish, Mom, it's about survival. Last time, our generosity didn't save us. It destroyed us. She was silent, seemingly caught in a struggle between her instincts to share and the harsh reality I presented. I could see the conflict within her, the desire to be the good person she always was, but also the fear of repeating our past mistakes. Mom, I continued, my voice softening, we need to think strategically. We can help others in ways that don't jeopardize our own safety. Gradually, she nodded, understanding the gravity of our situation and the lessons from our past life that had come back so vividly to haunt us. Together, we decided to manage our resources wisely, promising to support each other and survive, no matter what the future held. She still stood on the moral high ground, casually accusing me, you're exaggerating way too much, you don't understand love at all, it's like you've wasted your education, she said, we're a family, we should share everything. If someone in the family lacks something, of course, we should help out. How can you be so selfish? What will others think of us? How can I face our relatives in the future? Fine, really fine. Even if I had another chance, I wouldn't change my ways. I looked at her coldly, and without hesitation, I locked the safe house to its highest security level. Under my mother's astonished gaze, I spoke clearly and deliberately. I'll lay it out here. No one else can enter. This is my house. Mom, either we stay here together, or you leave too. Under the influence of my assertiveness, my mother finally calmed down. From the window, the extreme cold world outside was nothing but pure white. The doors were frozen shut, and my mother finally started to settle down and just focus on our own lives. But then she opened the property management group chat and saw everyone begging for help. Her compassionate heart stirred again, since I wouldn't let her send messages or reveal our address. She didn't make a fuss but just looked at me with tears in her eyes. My child, how can you be so heartless? We're all in the same boat, and we have so much. I was tormented by her tears. Was I not willing to be kind? Did I enjoy nitpicking? Didn't I want to be known as a good person? But with my current capabilities, being able to take good care of my own mother was already an achievement. This weather will continue for at least 2 years, Mom. We simply don't have the resources to help others. You can predict the future now. 2 years. You're even more accurate than the Weather Bureau, my mother retorted sarcastically. I couldn't tell her that I had access to a system, but given the current conditions, shouldn't she also guess that I knew something she didn't? Otherwise, why were others nearly freezing to death while our house was warm and we had plenty to eat? I took a deep breath and ignored her. Unexpectedly, in the bathroom, she secretly sent a message to our relatives. Big brother, are you there? My mother sent a voice message. You look so cold. We have plenty of food and the heating is strong. Feel free to come over anytime. I wanted to come and get you, but Nora must be crazy. She not only stops me vigorously but also won't let me tell you the address. She doesn't care about you, but I do. The bathroom door wasn't soundproof. I just listened as my mother rambled into the phone, complaining about me. Suddenly, I lost all reason and, in a frenzy, smashed open the bathroom door, and then crushed her phone into pieces. I couldn't let her repeat the mistakes of the past. I thought that would be the end of it, but unexpectedly, the message had already been sent, and that group of relatives immediately added me to a group chat to berate me. My eldest uncle was the first to start. You heartless beast, we're all family. Are you going to just watch us die? That was too harsh. My aunt tried to mediate. Nora, don't blame your uncle for being harsh. We're all one family. Your 2 brothers are about to freeze out there, and here you are cozy at home. How can you stand to see them suffering like that without feeling guilty? How can you comfortably hide at home and enjoy yourself? Look, how about I just don't visit your house? Would that be okay? We won't disturb you. Just show a little mercy and send over some food. I'm begging you. As an elder, Auntie sighed too. Nora, you've really disappointed me. I've doted on you for nothing all these years. Didn't I always buy you snacks when you were a child? Now that you're capable, you won't even lend a hand. You shouldn't forget your roots. Exactly. How can you be so cold-hearted? Who will help you if you ever find yourself in trouble in the future? Such heartlessness. Complete ingrate. Everyone positioned themselves on a moral high ground, each remark painting me as some unforgivable villain. But in my past life, when I had taken them into my home, I was the one who served them tea and water. I was the one who served them meals. I was also the one who was sexually harassed. Later, when those villains came, my uncle, trying to save himself, pushed me out first. Just kill her. She's young. Her flesh is tender. At that time, as I was carried onto the stretcher, all my relatives watched indifferently. None of them stood up for me. Even my aunt breathed a sigh of relief and muttered softly, "Good, they'll eat her first so they won't have to eat us." Remembering the memories from my past life makes me want to vomit. These ungrateful relatives don't deserve any help from me. I glanced again at the group message above. Fortunately, Mom hadn't revealed our exact location. They couldn't track us down. It was just venting their anger. I ignored it and left the group in one click. Mom was still nagging by my side. Look, we're all family. Just because of you, look what you've done to our family relations. Your aunt's family has hardly any food left, and the kids are not even 2 years old. What if they freeze? Nora, just send them some food. We have plenty stored up anyway. They've all been cursing me in the group. Didn't you see how horrible they were? I massaged my temples and said exasperatedly. That's because you started this heartless business first. Mom began to cry on the floor, pounding the ground with her hands. You really are heartless, such a wicked child, nothing like my own. Fine, I'm heartless, you're the compassionate one, you go deliver it. I yelled at her. It's nearly minus 50 degrees Celsius outside, the cars can't even operate in such terrible and dangerous weather. And you want your daughter to go out and deliver supplies. If you want to deliver, go deliver yourself. Don't boss me around. How can you speak to your mom like this, you heartless thing? Mom slapped me right then and there. Fine, I'll deliver it myself at my old age. I may be old and useless, but at least I have a kind heart, unlike your selfish and venomous self. She shouted this loudly. I covered my face, seeing only disappointment. If you're going to deliver it, then just go. Stop the empty talk. I'm leaving now, she declared righteously. Clearly, she had been comfortable for too long and had no concept of what minus 50 degrees Celsius felt like. She dressed herself and cursed as she opened the door. As soon as the door cracked open, a cold blast hit, everything near the door frosted over. Mom shivered intensely and quickly shut the door, watching her at the doorway, unsettled and patting her chest. She didn't even take a step outside. I couldn't help but scoff. Go on, deliver it. Why aren't you going? She fell silent, saying nothing more. It turned out, she only had the energy when it came to ordering me around. Why not let her try making one herself? I shrugged and said nothing more, but the next morning, as soon as I woke up and checked WeChat, I found it exploding with messages. Nora, we're almost at your place. Hurry up and open the door for us. We're about to freeze to death. Nora, you must open the door for us today. It was my uncle and aunt messaging me simultaneously. A shock ran through my heart. How on earth did they find out our exact address? I scrolled through the messages and my anger began to boil. Just the previous night, while I was asleep, my mother had unlocked my phone and added me and the relatives to a group chat. She personally sent a location pin in the group and pretended to be polite, saying, "Come on over. It's warm here and there's plenty of stuff." Nora wouldn't let me share this. I had to do it while she was asleep. The heartless girl, don't worry. Big brother and little sister, if she won't host you, I will. Come quickly, we have more supplies here than we can eat. Let's have a nice family reunion dinner before New Year's Eve. My head buzzed, and then suddenly, there was a loud knocking at the door. Open up, Nora, it's us, open the door. My mother leaped to the door and flung it open, and I, just waking up in bed, hadn't even had time to get dressed. My uncle and aunt's families just entered, and a warm rush greeted them. Melting the frost on their faces, "It's so warm in here," they exclaimed. I hastily threw on some clothes and came out of the room with a scowl. I saw a flash of jealousy and greed on my uncle's face. Having survived an apocalypse once, I was particularly sensitive to these emotions, yet, my oblivious mother continued to warmly welcome them. Come, sit down, you must be frozen. Nora, go get them some water." Anger surged within me. The door was still open. It didn't matter anymore. Let it be. I had always known there was a traitor in the house, so I had a backup plan. Most of our supplies had been moved to the basement, leaving less than a third in the house. The basement was designed to be extremely concealed, seamlessly blending with the surrounding floor, and my mother had no clue about it. No matter what, I could still come out unscathed. When those relatives came in, I had already made up my mind. In this lifetime, I was going to expose their true nature and cure my mother of her naive saintliness. I stood at the door, glaring unpleasantly at my uncle and aunt's families. They touched their noses, looking somewhat guilty, and my mother, immersed in the joy of hosting, just gave me a smug look as if to say, "What can you do about it? The people are already here, after all." I am your mother. My uncle and aunt knew how to play to the audience. Seeing that I wasn't greeting them, they eagerly hovered around my mother, occasionally throwing snide remarks my way. "Sister, you're so generous, unlike your child who's so stingy." The younger generation just doesn't measure up. It's not fair to say that. If we had these means, we'd definitely invite you all in. It's just that she's not good enough, playing the perfect good person. My mother looked even more noble against the backdrop of me, the villain. She immediately rushed to the kitchen to distribute my things generously. "Here are some chocolate fries that Nora bought. Take them, eat as much as you want." I clenched my fists in anger. These were my favorite snacks, and there wasn't much left. Mom did it out of spite, deliberately making me uncomfortable. She lifted her head, looked at me with a smugness that seemed to overflow from her eyes. It was as if she was saying, "What can you do to me?" In front of the relatives, standing where I could hear, she taunted me. In our generation, people helped each other, knew warmth and cold, not like today's young people. So cold, fine, I'm not cold, I'm warm-hearted, I can host guests well too. I rushed to the kitchen and took out the bird's nest and ginseng that Mom had treasured for a long time. Everyone hasn't eaten for so long. Let me prepare a medicinal meal to nourish everyone. Seeing what I had taken out, Mom's face turned pale, but her words had already set her up. Now it was too late for regrets. The cousin who harassed me in my past life, while still showing respect towards my mother, then turned to me and mouthed, "Bitch, I did it, what can you do about it?" And my aunt, looking at me coldly, said, "Nora, your aunt has seen all your past actions, you've chilled the hearts of our relatives. It's too late to make amends now." My uncle snorted and pushed the bowl of bird's nest soup off the table. Mom cried out in distress, "Brother, if you don't want to drink it, fine, but why take it out on things? I usually can't bear to drink it myself." Watching the true faces of these relatives, I just found it ridiculous. They had just entered my house and started showing their true colors to the host, constantly calling me ungrateful, when in fact, they are the ones who lack gratitude. I suddenly struck the wall with the back of my hand. The crowd instantly fell silent. Having survived the apocalypse in my past life, I knew well the law of the jungle. Every day of this reborn life, I've been training, lifting weights daily, building muscle. I've become so strong now, my upper body is more formidable than a bullfrog, my fists as big as punching bags. With such a physique, just standing here, my presence is intimidating. Under my imposing aura, they didn't dare to touch me. Asserting myself as the master of the house, I spoke up. "I'll emphasize one thing, look, we only have so much supplies in the house, and with the weather getting colder by the day, waiting for rescue is an indefinite prospect. You can share, yes, but if you let this information slip and attract others here, one more mouth to feed means less food for each, and you'll end up starving to death. Do you understand? It's been almost a month since the apocalypse began." They should understand the weight of my words. My aunt and uncle swallowed hard, actually listening seriously without pulling rank as elders. With that said, I lazily glanced at them and went back to my room to sleep. It's just the beginning, I doubt they'd dare do anything to me now. The next day, Mom received a distress message on her backup phone, her eyes filled with tears. "Your childhood neighbor," she messaged Mom, saying she's about to freeze to death. "It's just the two of them, let her come to our house to warm up." No way. This time, except for me. Everyone in our house unanimously said no. My uncle even went so far as to snatch the cell phone right out of my mother's hands. "Why are you taking my cell phone, big brother? People are freezing to death out there." At a critical time like this, I have to say, you're being naive. With so many people in the world, do you think you can save them all? It's already good enough if you can take care of those around you. My mother felt extremely aggrieved after being scolded by my uncle, seemingly unaware of why everyone had become so selfish, but I knew why, because everyone in the family had experienced hunger and cold, except for my mother, who had lived a life of comfort under my protection. Only those who are well-fed have the leisure to recklessly stir up trouble without considering the consequences. Her kindness met with resistance from everyone, so she no longer dared to casually speak of saving others. During dinner, everyone ate their meal. My mother still led and directed me like she used to in the past. "Nora, everyone here is your elder, and since you are young and capable, help wash the dishes for our guests." I sat there, motionless, as if I hadn't heard her. Indeed, my assertiveness that day had its effect. The others, seated in the middle, also didn't dare to make a sound. No one but my mother dared to order me around. I let out a cold chuckle and looked around at everyone with their own agendas, saying, "Whoever ate should wash their own dishes. This is my house. Letting you in is already a favor." My mother was immediately upset. "How can you speak like that? Don't you have any manners? How can you make guests wash the dishes?" "Fine, if you don't want to wash, let your mother do it. Let these old bones of mine wash them for you." She began to play the martyr, thinking these words could prick my conscience and persuade me to help her. But I just shrugged and dropped a casual remark, "Suit yourself." I refused to bear her karmic burden. With that, I went straight back to my room, stumped by my response. My mother, unwilling to lose face, actually went to wash the dishes. I rolled my eyes, She really knows how to make life hard for herself. My uncle and aunt are no saints. Seeing my mother work diligently without appreciation, they just piled even more tasks onto her. It wasn't even a week before my mother couldn't take it anymore. She wanted to complain to my aunt and uncle. But having preached about how to treat guests, she felt embarrassed to contradict herself. She could only moan about her pains while sharing a room with me at night, hoping I would hear, "Oh, my back hurts so much from all the work. It's so painful, ah." My back is really painful. Before the apocalypse, I was a dutiful child. Whenever my mother complained about her discomfort, I would massage her back and shoulders. But after the apocalypse, things changed completely. Because of her overly compassionate nature, I had to do even more work, wash more dishes, and it went on for a month. Wasn't I even more exhausted and tired than her back then? But in my past life, no one pitied me. Mother, the pain isn't in your body, so naturally you can't empathize with me, so in this life, I won't empathize with you either. Faced with her self-inflicted suffering, I only felt that she deserved it. I wore earplugs, pretended not to hear, and continued to sleep. People tend to bully the weak and fear the strong. During that week, no one bothered me. They all dumped the workload on my mom. It wasn't even half a month before my mom couldn't take it anymore. For the first time, she showed her displeasure to the guests. From now on, whoever makes a mess cleans it up themselves. My aunt looked wronged but said something that put my mom in a difficult position. Sis, weren't you the one who always talked about hospitality? I work so hard every day, and you all just sit there without seeing any of it, really, sitting here as if you own the place. This is our house, my aunt retorted. Didn't you always say we're all family? Now what's this about yours and mine? My mom, so angered she was practically shaking, couldn't find the words to counter. She just dropped a line, "Fine, from today onwards, I'm not doing any work." I secretly curved my lips upwards. Good, Mom finally stopped being a martyr and started standing up for her rights, though it really was a bit late. Mom's dream of a joyful, harmonious family atmosphere never materialized. With over a dozen people in the house needing to eat every day, every mouth seemed like a bottomless pit, looking at the increasingly bland dishes. My little cousin bellowed in frustration, "Mom, Auntie, I don't want to eat rice every day. I want meat, fried chicken, roast duck. I want to eat well." My aunt couldn't stand to see her son so upset and blurted out in a rush of complaints to my mom, "Now we can only eat plain white rice every day, not even a side dish. We have several cans of fish at home." I knew we shouldn't have come. Mom was utterly baffled. She didn't understand why helping others had led to this, but only I, who had survived the apocalypse, knew the truth of gratitude and resentment over a handful of rice. Can't you see the situation? If you hadn't come, you'd all have frozen to death outside by now. I knew I shouldn't have let your family in. This was the first time my usually helpful and kind-hearted mom shouted at relatives. "What's wrong with complaining about bad food? You said there would be plenty to eat and drink at your place. And look at us now." The scene was chaotic. And if it weren't for me holding them back, they might have started fighting. Let's all calm down. Staying alive is what's most important right now. My uncle rushed into the house and pulled the two arguing parties apart, but his eyes, filled with hatred and scheming, sent shivers down my spine. As supplies dwindled, the atmosphere in the house grew more oppressive. "Sis, how much rice do we have left? I see your daughter's cooking less and less each day, and the kids are still hungry." That was my aunt's voice, deliberately lowered, but every word was pointed. My mom sighed and waved her hand. "Oh well, I'll check the rice bags again. If it's not enough, we'll just have to make do." But the next day, my cousin's cries of hunger, holding his bowl, pierced everyone's heart like a needle. The remaining rice was running out. What was cooked in the pot was nothing but watery soup with a few wild vegetables floating on top, mocking the absurdity of this family reunion. The wrinkles on my mom's face deepened. As daily rations were distributed, everyone's eyes were round and watchful, fiercely guarding their share, afraid of getting less. My aunt and cousin had already fought twice over insufficient food. My cousin, dizzy from hunger, secretly stuffed a hard biscuit into his pocket. When discovered, his mother slapped him and scolded harshly, "Eat, eat, eat. Do you think just because you're a child you can take whatever you want? This place is all about rules." "Rules?" Auntie shouted with red eyes. "Your family eats the most, and you still have the nerve to talk about rules. The arguments spread from the kitchen to the living room. Everyone was shouting and cursing, children hid in the corners crying, as if they knew this household could no longer bear the strain, until one day, something even more terrifying happened. Mom discovered that the bag of rice hidden under her bed had disappeared. Who took it? For the first time, Mom asked coldly. Anger in her voice, everyone bowed their heads in silence. I'll ask again, who took the rice? How can you speak like that, sister-in-law? This time, Auntie spoke up, her tone full of disdain. It's the end of the world. We all need to survive. There's no yours or mine. We're a family. We should share our joys and sorrows. The rice must have been cooked by someone. What are you fussing about? Mom's face stiffened. Auntie's words were exactly what she herself had said a few days ago. Thinking back to a few days earlier when she had proudly spoken about helping others, Mom's face twisted in irony. Outside, the wind and snow roared like wild beasts. Inside, it felt even more like hell. Hunger distorted everyone's faces, and familial bonds had long been shattered into pieces. This was the fourth day without food. Everyone was listlessly curled up in corners. Mom and I stayed in the bedroom. Mom lying stiffly on the bed, her eyes vacant. I took some compressed biscuits from under the mattress and handed them to Mom with a sarcastic tone. Here's some food for you. You can go and share it with them. When Mom saw the biscuits, her eyes widened. She snatched the biscuits voraciously, yet chewed carefully, afraid that the sound of her chewing might be heard by someone. Watching Mom's undignified eating and the regret nearly spilling from her eyes, I found it amusing. Some things you only truly appreciate after you've experienced them yourself. Yet, a greater crisis was still brewing. After half a day, the people in the house couldn't bear the hunger anymore. The relatives we had taken in started conspiring outside. They have food. This was the first thing Uncle whispered, piercing the tense atmosphere inside the house like a needle. How do you know? Auntie asked, surprised and agitated. Do you need to ask? They've been quiet and calm. Look at their complexions. Do they look like they're starving? Uncle said grimly. Besides, it's the end of the world. They're the homeowners. Isn't it normal for them to have a private stash? Auntie's eyes flickered, obviously mostly convinced. She licked her dry lips, her voice hoarse. But if we just go and rob them? Isn't that too what? Uncle scoffed coldly. Look around. Who else in this house can last? If we wait any longer, we'll all starve. He lowered his voice, his tone sinister. Better to force them to give up the food. If they don't have any, we can resort to eating the mother and daughter. After all, it's just two women, and there are no men to help them. What trouble could they possibly stir up? These words silenced Auntie for a moment, but eventually, she nodded. In the bedroom, I leaned against the metal door of the safe room. I heard everything loud and clear. I always knew this day would come. Mom, I said in a low voice tinged with sarcasm, do you hear that? These are the wonderful relatives you welcomed. Mom froze by the bed, her face deathly pale, trembling all over. How could they? How could they? Why couldn't they? I scoffed coldly. They stopped seeing you as a person a long time ago, from the day you let them in. They treated you like an endless source of charity. You liked playing the saint, and now you see, saints are only good for sacrifice. Mom was speechless, guilt and fear mingling in her eyes. At midnight, the conspiracy finally took shape. Bang, 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 the knocking came, along with my uncles shouting, Sis, open up, we're family, we won't hurt you. Mom looked terrified at the door, her voice trembling. They really came. I grabbed her and pushed her into a corner, saying coldly, Shut up, just watch, this is a safe house. Even the bedroom door, once shut, is impervious to blades and bullets, so, I had no worries about our safety. As we remained silent inside, the voices outside grew more vicious, turning from urging to threatening. Sis, stop pretending, we know you have food. If you don't open up, don't blame us for being rude. Then came the sound of a knife hacking at the door. Bang, bang. The metal door emitted a low hum but showed no signs of damage. What's with this door? Impervious to weapons. My aunt screamed outside. What do you mean impervious? Keep chopping, my uncle frantically said. Inside, Mom cowered in the corner, tears streaming down her face. How could they do this to us? We're supposed to be family. Mom, they're right. I interrupted her coldly. Aren't you all about giving? Didn't you say family should support each other? Now's your chance. Why don't you open the door? Mom sobbed, unable to lift her head. The voices outside grew even more rampant. Sis, it's useless not to open the door. We're all going to die soon anyway. You two women, since you're going to die, might as well feed us first. You love to give, don't you want to help us? I've seen enough. Mom suddenly raised her head, her eyes filled with long-suppressed anger. These people, they're beasts, only realizing now. Isn't it a bit late? I sneered. Eventually, the chopping stopped outside, replaced by a chaotic scuffle. This door can't be opened. Shut up. I'll eat you if you say it can't be opened again. You're mad. Why should only your family be eaten? Bullshit. You've eaten the most. Why should we starve? If we're dying together. Don't think you can survive alone. Curses, screams, the dull thud of knives piercing flesh. The sounds merged into a nightmarish cacophony. Mom stared blankly at the door, tears drying on her face. If only. She exhaled shakily, her voice filled with unstoppable regret. If only I hadn't let them in from the start. If only. There are no ifs. My voice was as cold as ice. In an apocalypse, every additional person is an enemy. You're only understanding this now. Far too late. When dawn broke, there was no more noise outside. I opened the door, only to see a blood-stained floor and a mess of corpses. Clearly, they had turned on each other and died by each other's hands. Mom wept bitterly in front of the bodies. What should we have done instead? Let them freeze to death, so they wouldn't have to die like this? Distraught, Mom hardened her heart and decisively went to the kitchen to grab a kitchen knife. Daughter, I'm sorry, it's my fault for dragging you into this. I just wanted to be seen as a good person, to maintain a good reputation, and look where that got us. I am truly the most selfish one. Let me handle this. Don't dirty your hands. With that, Mom was about to cut a piece of flesh from our deceased cousin. No, Mom, there's no need. I quickly stopped her. Just throw them out. I'll figure something out for food. Seeing Mom now genuinely remorseful, I breathed a sigh of relief. Such a painful lesson was enough to bring her to her senses. So what do we eat now? Mom asked. I didn't respond but walked to a corner of the bedroom and opened a hidden entrance to a basement. As the entrance opened, rows of LED lights flickered on. The spacious basement was filled with neatly arranged supplies, bags of rice, canned goods, vacuum-sealed biscuits, and instant meals on one side, and reserves of mineral water and beverages on the other, along with various household items, even including a small generator. Mom was stunned and murmured, "Where did all this come from? I kept a backup plan, otherwise, with your generous nature, you would have given away everything we had," I said, prying open a can with an army knife and placing it in front of Mom. Eat, Mom, watching the fully stocked basement and the can in front of her. Mom didn't know whether to cry or laugh. Nora, thank you for keeping this for us. I've been a burden on you. I shrugged, not knowing what to say. Eventually, we cleared the bodies from the floor. We dug out the supplies and enjoyed a hearty meal of hot pot. Fortunately, my prior preparations were sufficient. Not just with food but also with entertainment like tablets and pre-downloaded TV shows, so even staying at home wasn't too hard. There were plenty of things to keep us occupied. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, the snow outside began to stir. A beam of sunlight entered our home. I watched the temperature slowly rise and the snow melt away. Reflecting on everything, I felt a sense of relief. After enduring a long, cold winter, spring was finally on its way. Story 2. With the apocalypse-like heatwave imminent, my parents and younger brother's family moved into my new house. I was locked out on the balcony just for complaining about saving electricity. Under the sweltering heat of over 60 degrees Celsius, I couldn't last a few hours. Before I died, I saw my parents' and brother's family leisurely watching TV in the living room, enjoying watermelon. After being reborn, I decided not to be the saint I once was. I wanted them to experience what I had endured in my previous life. Recently, the highest temperature in our city has reached 43 degrees and is expected to break through the 45-degree mark soon. The temperature is expected to continue to rise over the next period. To reduce the incidence of heatstroke, all citizens are advised to minimize going outdoors during this period at home. The government will do its utmost to ensure everyone has access to water and electricity. Watching the news on TV, I found myself unable to calm down for a long time. I pinched my thigh hard to confirm that I wasn't dreaming. Looking at the glass of water in front of me, I picked it up and drank it all in one go. The feeling of being cooked alive still haunts me, making it hard to forget. Ring, ring, ring. Just as I was about to get another glass of water, my phone suddenly rang. Seeing "Mom" on the caller ID, I realized everything was indeed starting over. "Hello, Felix, your dad's sick, and the local hospitals won't treat him. They said it's a severe condition, and he needs to be seen in a big city. Is it convenient for you? I'm thinking of bringing your dad over to recuperate and to see you as well. It's been a long time since we've seen each other. I really miss you." Listening to my mother's words, I couldn't help but sneer internally. It was the same in my past life. She said they were coming so my father could receive medical treatment, but in reality, it was to save on electricity bills at home by staying cool at my place. Not only that, but she also brought my brother's entire family along. My modest 90 square meter house could hardly accommodate so many people. Once they arrived, I was relegated to sleeping on the kitchen floor every day because the living room was needed for my nephew to play with his building blocks. Growing up, my family always favored boys over girls. When it was time to fill out college applications, my parents worried that if I went too far from home, I wouldn't be able to cook and do laundry for them and my brother. They contacted my teacher and changed my college application preferences. Instead of attending a second-tier university, I ended up at a vocational school in the county. When I saw the admission letter, I cried for an entire day and night. When I finally stopped crying, all my mom said was, "Go wash your brother's clothes. It's been a day without cooking. Do you want to starve us to death?" From then on, I did everything I could to distance myself from my family. During my 3 years in community college, I studied hard. Thanks to my solid foundation, I managed to transfer to the university I desired. When the university admission letter arrived home, all my belongings were thrown out. "Get out. How dare you do this behind our backs? Don't ever come back to this house." That was the last thing I heard from my mother back home. I packed a few clothes into a bag and started my life of drifting. For the 2 years of my bachelor's degree, I worked part-time jobs and managed to sustain myself. During that time, I never received a single call from my parents, until I started working. Somehow, they found out where I was employed. From then on, they began their relentless pursuit. Seeing that I had made something of myself, every day, they started coming to my workplace. They neither cried nor made a fuss, but simply sat quietly beside me, watching as I worked. Their civil demeanor instantly made me the target of exclusion at my workplace. After switching jobs 3 times, they still did the same. Left with no choice, I had to negotiate with them. The final agreement was that I would give them 100,000 yuan. After that, I had no further ties with them. For the sake of peace, I had to withdraw all my savings to give them the agreed 100,000 yuan. Years passed without them contacting me until they suddenly informed me that my father was ill. In my past life, I was somewhat soft-hearted. After all, it was my own father who was sick, and as his child, I felt obliged to show filial piety. So, I agreed, but it wasn't just my parents who showed up. My brother and his family came too. Their purpose was simple. They wanted to take over my house and transfer it to my brother so that his son could attend the nearby elementary school later. I merely mentioned to be mindful of the electricity usage as the bills were mounting. They locked me on the balcony for that. Within a few hours, I was dead from the heat on that balcony. Before dying, I clearly saw their proud faces, pleased with their successful scheme. Hello, Felix, are you still listening?" My mother's scolding tone pulled me out of my memories. Before I could even speak, my brother's voice came through the phone. "Does she have no humanity? She doesn't even care about her own father. What kind of ungrateful person are you raising? Don't talk to your sister like that. It's not easy for her being alone. Yes, she has it tough, and it's easy for me, right? I'm the one earning money alone for all of you to spend. Oh, keep it down. Isn't life tough for all of us?" I listened to their poor acting on the phone, barely holding back my laughter. "All right, I understand. Come over in the next few days." I wanted them to experience what it felt like in my past life. Even knowing they were pretending, I was still willing to play along. "Okay, we're catching the train soon and should arrive by tomorrow afternoon." Just like in my past life, this call was merely a notification, not a request for my consent. Before I could say another word, they had already hung up the phone, as if they were afraid I'd refuse. Holding my phone, I realized I needed to take action. With only 1 day left, I had to prepare. I wanted their family to truly experience the warmth of the big city. Stepping out of the house, a wave of heat hit me. It felt as though I was being roasted in a steaming oven. If it weren't for their impending visit, I would never choose to go out in such weather. My first step was to take a taxi to the real estate office. As I entered, the staff welcomed me and offered tea and water. The first thing I needed to do was to make changes to my living arrangements for the apocalypse. Miss, are you looking to buy or rent a house? The young man opposite me asked. Renting a villa for 3 months. Sure, here's a villa for you, fully furnished, 3 stories high, 1 level below, complete with a swimming pool. That's the one. I just glanced at the picture and made up my mind right then. Great. When are you planning to move in? I'll move some stuff over today, and I'm planning to sell another property. As I said that, I pulled out the deed to the house. It's in a good school district. The young man's eyes lit up when he saw the address on the deed. But miss, you know, with the current heat wave, this property is worth at least $700,000 in the market, but I'll take $500,000 $500,000. Say no more, I'll buy it myself. Good, you can take over the property in 5 days. Is that okay? Of course, I'll start the paperwork right away. After leaving the real estate office, I had a good amount of cash on hand. Entering the market, there were hardly any vendors left. I bought out the remaining vendors' produce and had it delivered to the villa. Some vegetables wouldn't meet my daily needs, so I went into a supermarket. I contacted the supermarket manager directly and bought up a large amount of supplies. This action raised some eyebrows. I pretended to be a big boss's secretary, claiming the boss was planning to work from home and not go out. Although the excuse was weak, it worked. I packed all sorts of instant noodles, spicy snail noodles, potato chips, and self-heating rice meals into my car to prevent boredom. I also stocked up on sunflower seeds, drinks, and braised snacks. The amount of food even filled up 2 delivery trucks. I then contacted another empty truck to sit in, planning to buy some more items later. On the way to the villa, I stopped at a pharmacy and bought some essential medical supplies, like herbal medicine for gastrointestinal discomfort and injury medicine. When I passed the hardware store, I even bought a few construction tools like nail guns and electric drills. With these tools, even in a post-apocalyptic world, I could defend myself against any intruders. Finally, I bought a few solar panels and batteries. After all, the television said the government would try to ensure electricity supply, but that's only a possibility. In this extreme heat, no one knew for sure if the power would be reliable. After all this, I drove to the villa I had rented with some workers. Looking at the huge villa in front of me, I nodded in satisfaction. If it weren't for this apocalyptic event, I doubt I'd ever live in such a villa. After a quick tour of the villa, I immediately had the workers start setting things up. Time was of the essence. I stayed up all night to arrange everything as needed. Once everything was set up, my phone rang again. Felix, are you home? Why aren't you answering the door? I stepped out. Weren't you supposed to come over? I'll buy you some groceries. I hadn't expected my family to arrive so quickly. They probably thought I might flee. They said they'd arrive in the afternoon, but they were already at my doorstep by morning. Well, sorry to bother you, Alex. What are you planning to eat? A boy's youthful voice came through the phone. I want to eat lobster, fried shrimp, abalone, and wings. My little nephew's speech was unclear, but I still understood what he was asking for. We don't have that here. This is inland. Where am I supposed to find seafood for you? Woo-woo, Auntie is mean, Auntie is mean. Next second, my brother's voice came through. Felix, are you even going to pick on a little kid? After all, he's your nephew. What's wrong with him wanting something to eat? You've been in the city for so many years, just indulging yourself with good food and drink. What about us? You don't care at all. Such an ingrate. I'm taking our parents and leaving right now. I didn't respond to the scolding over the phone, because I knew they were just bluffing and wouldn't really leave. A few seconds later, my mother's voice came through. Oh, Felix, your little nephew doesn't know any better. Don't take it to heart. Just buy something simple. After all, your father's medical treatment is what matters most. Come back soon. With that, my mother hung up the phone. I scoffed. I was even curious how such poor acting ever fooled me in my past life. One plays the good cop, the other the bad cop, just waiting for me to return, to seize my keys, and then they could decide my fate. I grabbed 2 instant noodle cups from the villa, hailed a taxi, and headed towards what was soon no longer my home. When I reached the apartment, my parents and brother's family of 3 were already standing at my door. Seeing them all empty-handed made me think of parasites. Felix, your brother was worried and insisted on coming over. You don't mind, do you? My mother hurriedly explained, fearing I wouldn't open the door. Mind, even if I did, could they leave? I really couldn't think of any pleasant words to greet this family with. Wow, Felix, do you think you're something special now? Been in the city so long, you think you're one of them? My father, who had been quiet until then, loudly scolded me and swung his arm, aiming a blow at my face. Slap, the crisp sound echoed back and forth in the hallway. Instantly, I tasted iron in my mouth. Blood trickled down from the corner of my lips. Such strength didn't seem like something a sick person could muster. Oh dear, Felix, don't blame your father. He's ill, his mind isn't well. Hurry up and open the door, let us in to sit and rest. My mother, seeing the blood on my lips, showed no concern whatsoever. She was solely focused on how to quickly get inside the house. Only by entering could the house truly become theirs. I glared fiercely at my father without uttering a word. You dare to glare at our dad? You think you've got the right face for it. My brother, imitating the actions of an adult, raised his arm, ready to strike my face, but I was prepared and wouldn't let him have his way. I lifted my arm and blocked my brother's slap. Before I could react further, my little nephew tiptoed and managed to slap my face. Though the slap wasn't strong, it truly shocked me deeply. Oh dear, my good grandson. So young yet already defending your dad and granddad. What a good child. My mother picked up my little nephew, showering him with kisses and praise. Auntie, bad, baddie, terribly bad. Looking at my 6-year-old nephew, who couldn't even speak basic sentences, I realized he was another societal menace. My sister-in-law stood by, arms crossed and dissatisfied. Enough, we've been standing at the door for too long, and after receiving a couple of slaps, you should be satisfied now, right? What? Need a couple more slaps before you'll open the door? I remained silent, mentally noting down every grievance. Soon, it would be time to settle scores. Upon opening the door, a chill rushed out from the room. Seeing the air conditioner still running, I felt a secret thrill. It wasn't that I had forgotten to turn it off, rather, leaving it on was part of my plan. The electricity bill for the house was almost depleted. It could only run for 2 more days at most. Soon, my brother's family would have to pay. Perfect timing, as the property management fees were also due soon. To pay the electricity bill, they'd have to pay the property fees as well. Staying just 3 or 4 days would cost them thousands. Such thoughts brought me joy. Before I could even smile, my mother kicked me in the buttocks. You wasteful creature, leaving the air conditioner on when you leave. No wonder it felt so chilly at the door. Once inside, my mother completely changed her demeanor, showing no concern for my well-being. I always said, marry her off to get some dowry money. But you wouldn't listen. Now you see how wasteful she is. My brother also entered, mocking coldly. Dowry, marry her off. Look, even Alex said you should get married off. Once this period is over, you better find someone to marry quickly. My father, holding my little nephew, spoke discontentedly to me. So small, TSK, thought it was a bigger house. You're not living that well by yourself, are you? My sister-in-law, upon entering, immediately started assessing the size of the house. I said nothing and just walked back to my room. Bang, before I could lie down, my brother kicked the door open. Get out, out, where to? Your tiny house. Just 2 bedrooms and a living room. My wife and I will take 1 room. Our parents with my son will take the other. And you sleep in the living room. No, living room, building blocks. My little nephew yelled loudly. Felix, why don't you sleep in the kitchen? There's still space there. Your little nephew is still young. He needs enough space for his building blocks. Why not just give it up for him? My mom's tone wasn't exactly suggesting a discussion. I had argued about this in my previous life as well. But what awaited me was a tag team scolding from my brother and my dad. No, I'll stay out tonight. I didn't want to stay in this kind of home any longer. Being with such people, I even felt that there was a stench in the air. Upon hearing that I wanted to leave, my dad angrily grabbed my collar. Staying out? Where are you going? Doesn't that cost money? My brother chimed in. There are places that don't cost money because, you know, people pay you. With that, my dad threw me to the ground. My head hit the floor hard. The severe impact made me dizzy and disoriented. Felix, you're throwing our family's face away. No wonder you're in your 30s and still don't have a partner. Turns out it's because you're selling yourself. The money you earn is so dirty, and yet you can spend it. Facing my dad's accusations, no one stepped in to say a word. Others just stood by, watching and laughing at me. I didn't respond, just slowly got up and sat on the sofa. Get up. My dad pulled me up from the bed again and threw me on the floor like trash. Selling yourself, who knows what diseases you might have. The whole family is here, especially Alex. If you dare infect him, I'll break your damn legs, break your damn legs, break your damn legs. My little nephew mocked laughingly. I still didn't say a word. The pain in my head was too much for me to even speak. I sat on the ground for a while longer, trying to ease the headache caused by the collision. During this time, not a single person came to check on me. No one even asked if I was okay. It was as if I didn't exist at all. I also took this opportunity to quickly set up the surveillance cameras I bought on the way back. It was almost time to torment and destroy them. How could I miss recording such moments? As time slowly passed, the cries of my little nephew soon followed. I'm hungry, oh dear. The little one is hungry. Let's see what your aunt's house has, shall we? My mom carried my nephew out of the guest room. Felix, what do you have at home? Hurry up and bring it out, here. I pointed to the instant noodles on the table. Is this it? Are you trying to starve us? What's going on? Why the noise? When I finally got some sleep, my brother came out of the room, roaring discontentedly. Your son is hungry. If he's hungry, he should eat. You, go buy something. My brother gave me a sidelong glance, not even willing to address me directly. I shrugged and said, no money, no money. Where's your money? Aren't you guys who sell yourselves supposed to be rich? Watch your mouth. I do have a legitimate job. Don't just start with accusations of selling things. Oh, come on. You call that a legitimate job? Can you even afford a house with that? I've been working hard at home for years and haven't saved a penny. Enough said. Let's drop it. Why don't you go out and buy some food? Understood. Are you asking me to go out? I asked with a light chuckle. Of course. Go and buy some food quickly. Fine, I'm leaving. And I'm never coming back. After saying that, I slammed the door and left. Once outside, I activated the well-prepared surveillance system. I saw my brother angrily smashing a vase on the floor in the room. She's gone too far. She's gone too far. Who does she think she is? I should have dealt with her when I had the chance. His roaring made my little nephew immediately start crying in fear. My mom quickly tried to console my brother. Oh, let her go if she wants to leave. Don't forget, we came here for her house. Now that she's gone, the house is ours, right? Humph, lucky she ran off fast. My brother snorted coldly and went back to his room. Watching this scene, I said to myself with a smile, such ignorance of the law. Without a property deed, how can you prove the house is yours? Besides, the real owner of the house is about to come and take it back. After that, I took a taxi back to the villa I was renting. Back at the villa, I lay on the bed. Feeling a huge relief, I rolled freely on the large bed. Enjoying the soft mattress and the comfortable temperature, I soon fell asleep. Ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, a series of urgent ring tones woke me up. I saw an unfamiliar number on my phone and immediately answered the call. Hello, who is it? It's your dad. Who else? I heard my dad's voice on the phone. You went out selling again. I asked you to buy some food. How long has it been? Look at the time. How long? Oh, I said I'm not coming back. While speaking, I grabbed a bag of chips from beside me, tore it open, and started stuffing them into my mouth. Hearing the crunching sounds, my dad exploded in anger again. You little rascal, what are you eating? We're all starving here. And what are you eating? Chips, spicy flavor. They're actually pretty good. You little rascal, are you trying to kill me with anger? Hey, don't say I'm trying to kill you. I did bring you guys food. On the living room coffee table. 3 buckets of instant noodles. I even brought shrimp and fish noodles especially for my little nephew. Isn't that thoughtful? You bastard, you. I wasn't about to let him continue berating me, so I swiftly hung up the phone. Then, I turned on the video surveillance. Oh dear, why did you smash your phone? My mom lamented as she looked at the broken remains on the floor. It infuriates me, really infuriates me. That scoundrel, he hung up on me. And he's probably out there eating somewhere. So what? Just order delivery, my sister casually remarked, arms crossed. as if it was none of her concern. Delivery, it's so hot outside. Who do you expect to deliver? My brother yelled at my sister. Why are you yelling at me? Go yell at that sister of yours who sold you out. Frustrated, my sister stormed back into the room and slammed the door shut. This family is upside down. Watching the chaos at home, I couldn't help but smile contentedly. Don't worry, this is just the beginning. There's more fun to come, I muttered to myself. For the next while, I lay alone on my bed, watching TV shows and munching on sunflower seeds. Whenever the floor got dirty, I just used the robotic vacuum cleaner. I didn't have to worry about cleanliness at all. As evening approached, the sky gradually darkened. Just as I was about to sleep, my mom called me again. Hello, what's up, Felix? Your dad's illness can't be delayed. You're more familiar with things in the city. How about you come over and take him for a checkup tomorrow? I scoffed. He's sick. He doesn't seem sick at all from the way he hit me. I think not only is he sick, your whole family is sick. You all are out of your minds. Don't call me again. I hung up, this time. It was my turn to hang up on my mom. Then, I turned off my phone, turned on the air conditioning, and drifted off to a peaceful sleep. The sweltering weather woke me from my sleep. I initially thought the air conditioner was off. I grabbed the remote and pressed it. The air conditioner wasn't off. The initial setting of 26 degrees was no longer sufficient to keep the room cool. I lowered the temperature to 22 degrees until it felt cooler. I immediately turned on my phone to check the outside situation. As soon as I turned it on, a barrage of missed call alerts and messages flooded in. Just from my mom alone, there were over 30 missed calls. There were even more from unknown numbers. The messages were all quite straightforward, all cursing me. I cleared them all in one click, paying no mind to the content. According to the weather forecast on my phone, the outside temperature had soared to 46 degrees. The real feel was even higher. I quickly made myself a fancy breakfast. The stockpile I had was enough to last me a year. I couldn't believe this extreme heat apocalypse would last that long. While eating, I turned on the surveillance to check the situation at home. The living room floor was a complete mess. The 3 buckets of instant noodles were long gone. Then my brother walked into the room. He dropped a few bags of crisps on the floor. Damn it, it's too hot. If I had come back any later, I would have cooked, he exclaimed. He lay directly under the air conditioner, letting the cool air blow over him. Is this all you bought? Just a few bags of crisps. Who is that going to feed? My sister complained as she picked up the crisps and threw them back on the floor. Wow, since when did you, a mere wife, get a say in this family? My brother stepped forward and stared at his sister-in-law as if he was about to start a fight any second. I'm telling you, don't try to intimidate me. If you dare to shout at me again, I'll take Alex and go back to my parents' house. Upon hearing that his sister-in-law was threatening to take his nephew away, my mother immediately panicked. She started slapping my brother on the back repeatedly. Apologize now, just apologize. My brother didn't apologize. He just snorted coldly and went back to his room. In the end, his sister-in-law ended up eating up several bags of instant noodles with my nephew. The rest of us just had to drink some water to stave off the hunger. Watching the miserable state of that family, I delightedly added some sausage and marinated eggs to my instant noodles and celebrated properly. Another day passed, and the temperature had risen to 50 degrees. The air conditioning inside the villa could hardly stop working for a moment. I sat in the living room eating bread and watching Empresses in the Palace. Before I had finished eating, another unfamiliar call came through. I didn't even need to guess. It was definitely my brother's family trying to reach me. They knew I wouldn't answer calls from familiar numbers, so they had to keep changing numbers to contact me. As soon as I answered the call, before I could even speak, Felix, have you had enough of living? Believe it or not, I can kill you right now and let you dry out in the sun. Over the phone, my brother cursed me furiously, not caring that I was his own sister. I didn't respond, just set the phone aside and let him rant without listening. A few minutes later, it seemed he had run out of steam and stopped talking. This gave me the perfect opportunity. Are you done? Thirsty? I've got some ice-cold cola here I can't finish. Want some? The air conditioning is a bit cold. How about we warm up with a hot pot for lunch? After that, I hung up the phone again. I then blocked my brother's number. Next, I turned on the video surveillance. Watching their angry but helpless expressions was incredibly satisfying. Sure enough, after several unsuccessful attempts to reach me by phone, my brother, just like my dad, smashed his phone. Have you lost your mind? Phones don't cost money, his wife angrily confronted him. Do you know how much Felix has been scheming us, just living it up alone outside, making us pay her property fees? Property fees. What does that mean? My mom asked. It's like, oh, you wouldn't understand. Anyway, I went out to pay the electricity bill, and ended up spending over 4,000 including the property fees. Hearing this number, my dad suddenly came out of the bedroom and yelled, I'm going to find her. Do you even know where she is? Go find her. His wife's words calmed him down. Resigned, his wife said, forget it, 4,000 for a house. We made a profit, I guess. I don't believe she won't come back. Once she does, she must repay that money to my son, my mom said viciously. It was as if they were discussing an enemy, not their own daughter. Watching this drama unfold made the instant hot pot in front of me taste even better, considering the time. Tomorrow, this family is going to be evicted from the house. By tomorrow, who knows how much higher the temperature will rise. Thinking about this, I instantly feel relieved. I set an alarm and got up early, for a better visual experience. I connected the surveillance video from my phone directly to the 100-inch TV in front of me. I was watching the video on my phone and on the TV at the same time, just waiting to see when this family will be cleared out like trash. Knock, knock, knock. The knocking sound from the TV drew my attention. Who is it? My mom came out of the bedroom to answer the door. The buyer glanced at my mom and said directly, please leave my house now. Your house? What do you mean your house? This is clearly my daughter's house. My mom was stunned by this remark, frantically trying to explain while retreating and calling out to the other rooms, old man, son, come out quickly, what's going on, what's going on, can't a person sleep peacefully early in the morning? My brother was the first to come out from the guest room, angrily shouting towards the outside. My dad also came out from the master bedroom with a grim face, glaring at the front door. Gentlemen, this house is now mine. If you continue to stay, it will be an illegal occupation of someone else's property, and I can call the police to arrest you. Hearing about calling the police made my brother even angrier. Call the police? Who's afraid of the police? Come on, come and catch me. Hey, young man, are you mistaken? This house belongs to my daughter. How did it become yours? My mom's timid yet confrontational nature was fully displayed at this moment. You're not leaving. If you don't leave, I'll call the police. Let him call the police. I don't believe it. This house can just change owners like that. My dad stood there, self-righteously as if he had bought the house himself. Seeing how difficult this family was to reason with, the buyer decided not to continue communicating. He called the police directly. Despite the scorching heat, the police arrived at the scene quickly. What's the matter? Before the buyer could speak, my dad immediately said, this scoundrel claims that our house is his. Isn't that just creating trouble? Sir, mind your manners. Don't start insulting people. The sweltering heat made everyone irritable. With the added frustration, tempers were already flaring. The police, fearing the situation might escalate to physical violence, issued a warning. I'm the one who called the police. Officer, look, here is my property deed. Here is my contract. MS, Felix has already sold this house to me. And this family is still squatting here. I'm here today to take possession of the house. Hearing the buyer claim that I had sold the house, my parents suddenly felt less confident. No way, my daughter sold the house, my mom tentatively inquired, hoping the situation could still be mitigated. The police reviewed the documents and said, the paperwork is complete and legal, you and your family should leave the house now. Hearing this, my brother flopped down on the ground. I'm not leaving. I absolutely won't leave. Upon hearing this, the police couldn't be bothered to argue further. They stepped forward and warned, this is your first warning, leave immediately. I won't leave, no matter what. My parents panicked immediately. They had never had any dealings with the police in their lives and hurried over to placate them. Oh, officer, this is all a misunderstanding. We're leaving right now. Right away. Exactly, we're leaving. Isn't that enough? I'm not leaving. This is my house. I'll only leave over my dead body. My brother's stubborn words even shocked me as I watched through the surveillance. Second warning, leave immediately. I'm not leaving, just not leaving. At this point, my sister in the guest room couldn't sit still anymore and left the house carrying my little nephew. Seeing this, my mom hurriedly followed her out. Now only my brother and my dad were left inside the house. If you don't leave now, we will take forceful measures, please. Officer, no force. My dad stepped in front of my brother, arms spread wide. like a mother hen protecting her chick. Last warning, leave immediately, we're leaving, we're leaving. My dad reached out to pull my brother up, but my brother didn't care and just sat on the ground like a rogue. The police didn't say anything more and directly carried my brother out of the house. This is violent enforcement. I'm going to sue you. My brother's shouts were ignored after the police drove them out. They quickly left the scene. After all, no one wants to handle cases under the scorching sun. The buyer of the house also quickly locked the door. Even if my brother knocked again, he hid inside and wouldn't come out. The situation didn't last too long. The temperature outside was just too hot. According to the weather forecast, it had reached 55 degrees. Soon, my phone rang again. What's up? I knew who it was without even looking at the caller ID. Felix, what do you really want? You've driven us to this point. Where are you now? On the phone, it was my sister-in-law's voice. Oh, taking turns calling me now. Are you? Don't worry, I've checked. All the hotels in the city have stopped operating, and all trains and buses have also suspended service. Your best bet now is to find some shade and devoutly pray. Pray that heaven will have mercy on you and let the temperature drop quickly. After saying that, I hung up the phone, turned off my mobile, and started enjoying some quiet time. After various technological interventions by the state, the extreme heat was brought under control over a month. When I left the villa, I looked at the balance on my bank account and sighed helplessly. In 2 months, I had squandered all my savings. However, being free from such a toxic family, I wasn't too upset. Just as I was thinking this, my phone suddenly rang. Hello, who is this? Hello, is this Miss Felix? We found the remains of your family members in some ruins. We hope you can come to identify them, and also, your family's estate, roughly 500,000 yuan. We hope you can claim it as well. Okay, I'll be right there. I hung up the phone and smiled sweetly. Indeed, girls who smile are never in short supply of good luck.